Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for checking the video out today. We are talking about a leaked list of games that are in development over at PlayStation Studios. This is something that just came out the other day, and it's not the biggest list. It's worth noting that it's seemingly an older one, maybe a year old, a little bit less than that, give or take, but it's not necessarily the most up-to-date. And it's also a small portion of PlayStation Studios. So when we go over these games, keep in mind we're only seeing a snapshot of what some studios are developing. And also, it's not the most revealing list as well. So keep that in mind. But diving into it here, we have PC ports, Sackboy: A Big Adventure and Returnal. No surprise there, Sackboy was just announced for PC, and Returnal is seemingly going to be announced for PC any day now. Horizon Forbidden West is a little bit more surprising, but maybe not the most surprising. So we'll have to see when that gets announced and when Sony's planning on dropping that on PC. But getting to the new games here, we have Guerrilla Games. They did mention the Horizon Zero Dawn remaster, so it's maybe worth pointing out that on this list, it did say remaster, not remake. So that should give you at least a little bit of solace knowing that it's not getting the full remake treatment. It absolutely doesn't need it. I think at this point, what we're going to see with Horizon Zero Dawn is what we saw with Uncharted and Spider-Man, where they just got remasters and they were priced fairly and, no one really actually cared that much. I see the exact same thing happening with Horizon Zero Dawn at this point. They also mentioned the Horizon Online game. They say it'll be a game as a service, multiplayer, PC, and PS5. It's worth noting that almost every game here, I think every game actually, does say it is going to be for PS5 and PC. So next up, we have Firesprite with Heartbreak or Project Heartbreak. Survival horror, PC, PS5. This is something that we did see in a job listing, and we did discover that, yes, Firesprite is in fact, for those who may be unaware or forgot, working on a survival horror game. Now, they're working on many different projects, but this happens to be one of them. So that's a game I can't wait to see revealed. I'd love to see some new survival horror titles. Then we have Sumo Digital working on Carbon or Project Carbon, open world multiplayer PS5. So this is one title that doesn't mention PC, but again, it's not the most revealing. We don't really know too much about it, so we'll have to see what it ends up looking like. Lucid Games, we have Red Star, which is vehicle combat, multiplayer PS5. Now, again, because this list is a little bit older, we've since learned that apparently Lucid Games was working on a Twisted Metal reboot, but then it got handed over to Firesprite, so we don't really know exactly what Lucid Games is doing. So this Project Red Star could be that, or it could be something completely separate from that. Next up, we have Kojima Productions working on Project Ocean, which is rumored to be Death Stranding 2. We know that Norman Reedus basically mentioned Death Stranding 2 twice, and since then, other people have said that that's what this is. So, there it is, Project Ocean. It says open world PS5. Then we have Ballistic Moon. They're working on Project Bates. Again, this is something else that we recently learned about through job listings and people who are working on it kind of posting about it. And it's not something we're supposed to know about yet, but it kind of leaked out. And so this essentially is more confirmation. Another survival horror game being made for PS5 and PC. And then we have London Studio working on Project Camden, a game as a service PS5 PC game. Now, I have seen some people kind of hoping that maybe London Studio with this live service game is working on maybe something that could be considered like a GTA competitor or GTA Online competitor, something, similar to The Getaway. Sorry to burst anybody's bubble, but if you look at previous job listings, they're working on something that is fantasy. So think more something like Destiny or along those lines. Now, I don't know if it's going to be a shooter per se, but it's going to be a fantasy live service game. So yeah, nothing quite like The Getaway. And then anything else that was on this list, again, were projects that were already announced, Rise of the Ronin, Call of the Mountain, stuff like that. So, yeah, this is the latest leak we have, and probably the most significant leak we've got in some time for PlayStation Studios. Now, I will say it is kind of disappointing, or maybe not actually, depending on how you look at it. I mean, it's hard to look at this list and not want to know more, but maybe that's a good thing, because A leak like this, I don't think is necessarily damaging because, sure, we know Firesprite is making a survival horror game called Project Heartbreak, but we don't know anything about it. So the surprise is still preserved. I'd say maybe the biggest thing here is something like, the Horizon online game or game as a service, because again, we've been speculating for a while that Guerrilla Games was working on something maybe like a Killzone title or SOCOM reboot, but it seems like they're all in on Horizon with that studio. So yeah, at this point, we're just going to have to remain patient and see whenever Sony is going to start revealing and announcing more of these projects and more of these games. But that does it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave it a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share the video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.